Welcome to 49ers After Dark. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Jessie Naylor. It's dark on the West Coast. It's definitely pitch black on the East Coast. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing good other than these technical difficulties. I don't know why my mic's not working, but hopefully everybody can hear me fine through the camera mic. We'll just deal with it.
Yeah, let's just roll with it. And let's not waste any time. Ryan Clark said something crazy. Everyone's saying the Niners could and should trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Ryan Clark's like, nah, trade Trey Lance. Can you explain this? What did he say?
Okay, so he basically said trade both of them. He said go ahead and trade Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance and try to get Aaron Rodgers, because he says that Trey Lance, obviously, if he can't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe there's something wrong there. He can't throw the ball, and maybe he's not fit to be a quarterback in the NFL. So just get rid of him before it gets too late and everybody in the league realizes it, basically.
Did he say that when Patrick Mahomes sat for a year behind Alex Smith? They got to trade this guy. If he can't beat Alex Smith, he must be trash.
Right. Right.
That?
No, he didn't.
No,
he didn't. No, he definitely didn't.
He said the Niners should trade Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo to the Packers, who already have Jordan Love, because the Packers, what they want is more quarterbacks. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. Here's the thing: is you have these talking heads that are trying to get clicks or whatever they're trying to do, but these guys don't watch every single game the way that we do. They don't focus in on one team, and the reason I can tell that is because Ryan Clark kept going back to that Arizona game, and he would not reference or did not reference the Texans game, which is a big part of this context. If you're going to make a statement like that, you should probably know what they look like the last time they played. And Trey Lance looked very, very settled in as a quarterback, especially in the second half of that game, and only his second start. So if you're going to make a statement like that, you should probably come correct and know what you're talking about. And he's getting roasted for it, for sure.
I just don't understand why this makes sense. I mean, him writing off Trey Lance this early is comical. Like, his track record judging quarterbacks isn't good, but now he can do it after 2.5 games in the end. Like, of course you can't. But why would the Packers want Lance and Garoppolo? They would want probably neither, maybe one, definitely not two. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, Ryan.
Well, and here's what I don't understand, Grant. Like, why is there a big chunk of ex-players or media that are just going after this kid? Like, what is it about what we saw with Jimmy Garoppolo that is just so intriguing that we've got to attack a kid in Trey Lance who has not played?
I don't know what the term is. It's not about him. I think it's about the organization. I think league-wide, a lot of people look at the Niners as kind of rinky-dink. Maybe the Steelers, teams like the Yorks are not the DeBartolos, and I think maybe that's part of it. They want to be able to say, look, they traded 3 first-rounders for this guy. Their plan was terrible. I think a lot of people want to be able to say that, like the Niners don't know what they're doing. So that's part of it. But
yeah, I mean, but
giving up on Lance is silly. Now, if he had like a ton of value and you could get Aaron Rodgers, but I don't understand. Why would the Packers want Lance or Jimmy instead of Jordan Love? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Jordan Love,
Trey Lance.
Right.
They haven't seen Trey Lance. They've seen Jimmy Garoppolo. They're invested in Jordan Love. That doesn't make any freaking sense. They could trade Trey Lance for Tom Brady, but if Tom Brady wanted to come out of retirement, he could, and he said, I want to go to the Niners. The Niners could give him a ham sandwich. It doesn't matter. I mean, it wouldn't have to be Lance. So I don't see why. To me, this is just something a salty ex-Steeler would say, didn't he? I mean, he was really down on Jimmy Garoppolo just 2 years ago, right? He called the Niners pretenders, and all because Jimmy wasn't that good. And now he says Trey Lance is even worse. Hasn't even seen him yet. I don't know.
Well,
I say don't trade Trey Lance. I say don't trade Trey Lance.
No, that's a terrible one. I mean, because think about it. You basically spent 3 first-rounders and a third-rounder in capital on Trey Lance. There's no shot in hell that he's worth that today. Like, the value's already gone down because you've driven the car off the lot and nobody's seen it. They don't know how it performs. So if you trade him today, you're not getting anything close to that value. It's just not the way that it works.
Yeah.
he would be the number 1 pick in this year's draft. So
See, to me, my what I'm thinking is that Ryan Clark is secretly trying to get the Niners to trade Trey Lance to the Steelers because everyone's linking the Steelers with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not exciting. No one wants to hear that. But I think teams might want to crack at Trey Lance. So maybe Ryan Clark's trying to do a little voodoo on the Niners. Trade Lance to the Steelers.
interesting.
We need a quarterback. That's what I think.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Yeah. I like the little voodoo thing you did.
Lucas says, I think Trey has value outside of his playing ability. As someone around his age, watching him play resonates a lot better to me and possibly other younger people than a 30 or 40-year-old does. True. Young guy play quarterback, always fun. I'm with you on that. Yeah. I hear that. So you'd rather have him than Aaron Rodgers. Look, it would be tough to trade your entire future for 1 or 2 years of Aaron Rodgers. It'd be tough. I don't think you'd have to either. I just don't think it would have. Again, why would the Packers covet Lance, who you see nothing from, when they already have Jordan Love? I would seem wishy-washy on their part.
Well, I mean, to me, they're trying to extend Aaron Rodgers. If Jordan Love was any good, now Aaron Rodgers is way better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but if Jordan Love was any good, I mean, would you really be trying to extend Rodgers right now and keeping him up and until he's in his 40s?
Yeah, it's Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, it's a unique circumstance. I'm just saying. I don't understand.
But why even draft Jordan Love? I don't know. That whole thing's bizarre to me.
Because apparently they liked him at some point. I don't know. Fossey says Ryan Clark is smoking that good. George says, hey, Grant, did you hear that Tom Brady family said no to him coming to the Niners because we chose Jimmy over him? I don't care, Lance, all day. I didn't hear that, no.
I didn't hear that either, but oh well. Lance, it's not happening.
I would be heartbroken if they traded Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's talk about wishy-washy and having no plan. There you go.
Hello, Jesse.
What's up?
I don't think you'd be heartbroken if they traded for Aaron Rodgers. It would be a swing of emotions, and you'd probably have to reorient yourself. But, I mean, there'd be worse days. Like, oh, my God, the Niners traded for Aaron Rodgers? No! How can I go on? Oh, this is terrible.
Okay. It depends on what they give, though, because, okay, so let's say it's Lance. They wouldn't want Lance and Jimmy. That makes no sense. Let's say they wanted Lance, and what else are you going to give? Another first-round pick? So now you just Lance traded for Aaron Rodgers 4 first-round picks and a third-round pick? That's steep, man. He's good, but he ain't that. I mean, is he that good?
It's not going to actually happen, is it?
No, but I'm just hypothetically. I mean, if we're going to jump into this emotionally, like let's talk about it.
Yeah, all right. So, did Brandon Ayuk take shots at Jimmy Garoppolo?
I feel like he did a little bit. So I don't know if you saw. You probably didn't, Grant. You've been out of pocket, understandably so. Yeah. But somebody had posted, I think it was 49er Edits on his Instagram, posted the shot where Jimmy threw him the go route against the Rams in the NFC Championship, and just posted that video. And he commented on the video and he said, "Deep ball me in all capital letters, please."
Deep ball me, please.
Yeah, but the please was in all capital letters. Like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this all year.
Yes.
This dude finally gets me a deep ball. We can see what I can do with it. That's the way I took that. And you've got, I mean, as we break down this offseason, a lot of people are talking about how we need a burner receiver, right? We need a receiver that can threaten you deep. Maybe that receiver's been Ayuk the whole time, but we haven't had the quarterback that could help him threaten deep. Ayuk really could have dominated that game if he had been given the opportunity. To me, if they had a quarterback that could just go after a corner repeatedly until the other team stopped it, Ayuk could have had easily 7 to 10 catches, close to 200 yards, because that corner could not hold him. And the fact that he was getting open all over the place and wasn't just being force-fed the ball. Again, you talked about Ayuk being in the quote-unquote doghouse earlier in the year and how that wasn't a Shanahan thing. You felt that was a Garoppolo thing. Maybe this is kind of shedding some light into that a little bit.
Well, I think it's possible what was happening with Ayuk is that, like, he would get open deep, and we would see it in camp, especially in preseason. He'd get open, he wouldn't get the ball, or it would be off, and he would show up Jimmy. I think we could agree on that. He would jump up and down.
Mm-hmm.
He would stamp his feet. He would wave his arms. he would show up Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think that was the issue. It's like, look, we're trying to pump up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value here, and you're a second-year player, and that's not going to fly. Sorry. So I guess they felt like you can't act this way, but still, Brandon was right. Like he was probably wrong to do the stuff he did, but he was right to feel like what the hell. And I think I can't speak for him, but I think what he felt was, man, like this man doesn't even look down the field more than 10 yards. He doesn't even look. So that would be pretty frustrating too. And I think that's why deep ball me, please. It doesn't matter. I can run the cleanest double move, the cleanest post route, the cleanest post corner. He's not even going to look, and it's frustrating. I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be extremely frustrating. And again,
nearsighted, farsighted, nearsighted.
I agree, though. That would be frustrating. And by the way, let's not forget that he worked out with Lance last offseason. And now he's going to work out with him again this offseason. That to me is a receiver that is starting to see the bigger picture and realize, hold on a second. Well, if I can get on the same page with this next quarterback, I can bring home the bag because this guy will get me the ball deep. We'll be on the same page, and I'll be the man here, hopefully, is kind of, I think, what he's thinking here. So, yeah, man, I would be frustrated if I was him because he has all the skill set. We've seen him have all the skill set. That's never been a question with Brandon Ayuk. And if it is, it shouldn't be.
Nah, Brandon Ayuk averaged 18.3 yards per catch his last year at Arizona State. He was a definite deep threat. Ask Diamond Lenore, who got roasted numerous times by Brandon Ayuk. If he took shots at Jimmy, I mean, can't do anything about it now. Jimmy's on the way out. Deuces!
Well, here's the thing is I just found it interesting because everybody else seems to be going out of their way to talk about how great Jimmy is. Ayuk has just stayed silent on the whole thing. And then the one thing he says, deep ball me, please. Like, oh my gosh, give me the freaking ball, can we? I just think that's an interesting contrast to what we've been seeing from everybody else.
I mean, the offense was so limited with Jimmy Garoppolo this year. You had to find very new and specific ways to get each person the ball. Debo had to become a freaking running back.
Right.
Like
right.
Ayuk, they were reduced to running him on what? Slants and digs, right? Yeah. He can do a whole lot more than slants and digs, but that's the only way that freaking Jimmy Garoppolo could get him the ball. It's probably frustrating. So I think you're going to see the full skill set come out.
I agree.
Must feel really good for Brandon. George says there will be no reason for us to trade Trey Lance for Aaron Rodgers because Rodgers blaming his teammates for his mistakes more than he blamed himself. Aaron Rodgers has spoiled Trey Lance all day. Oh, snap. Niner fans don't even want you anymore. They don't even like you. Where do you think Rodgers is going to go real quick?
I think he's going to stay in Green Bay.
Me too. He seems like a guy who like kind of, threatens about leaving his girlfriend all the time, but never does. It's like, I'm about to do it so bad.
Speaking of, his girlfriend's leaving him, so there's
Is that right?
Yeah, they called off the engagement.
Who's his girlfriend?
I forget. I don't know. Some famous chick. I have no idea.
Right.
But you know what's funny about him, and this is Aaron Rodgers. All his whole career has had these weird things. Like, I don't think he's close with his family. He kind of isolates himself. He's a little bit of a loner. Doesn't seem to have like good social skills. This has kind of been a pattern throughout his whole life, to be real with you.
He lives in Green Bay all by himself or whatever. And I was asking locals, so what do you think of Aaron Rodgers? They're like, oh, he's a jerk. He's a jerk. I was like, how do you? Oh, and they all know. So I don't know.
Yeah,
sorry,
there's something to that.
About you. Niners about to give for fans. You can read that for making us wait a year to see them trading him. No, they won't do it. They're not going to.
I hope not. No.
Kyle has a plan. I think. Did you guys see Patrick Willis tweet about possibly coming out of retirement?
No, and please don't.
He's like D'Amico's age. I don't think he will.
He's got to be 37-ish, 38, yeah?
36. Born in 85, I think. It was reported that Tom Brady and his family is upset the Niners organization for not picking him up 2 years ago. No TB12 to the Bay. Who reported that?
Who cares?
Wow. So they were talking about that guy in the shop then, huh? They were talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Maybe.
Did that never come out ever?
It didn't. Here's why I don't think it was Jimmy Garoppolo, because he also said something else that was very key that people missed out on. He said it was a team that he would have never considered going to anyways.
All right.
He obviously wanted to be a Niner, so
Leandro says Rodgers is the Jimmy of great quarterbacks. He's unbelievable until the lights are brightest. He's unbelievably gone in big moments, although the Niners are a better overall team. I can't really argue with that. It's amazing that he only has one ring, considering how great he is.
Yeah.
Jimmy G for Chase Young from Commanders. Yeah, I think that's probably what. How about Chase Young in the first or two?
Why stop at Chase Young?
We're going to get to Jimmy. Well, let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. A lot of people point to, well, hey, Wentz went for a conditional one. Darnold went for some high picks. Jimmy's going to go for some high picks too. That makes sense until you look at how freaking abysmally awful those trades worked out, right?
Yeah, I think that's a point that people are missing out on. So let's break these each down individually for a second. Sam Darnold was 3 years into his career. He played for a horrible organization, right? I think it stands to reason that somebody can look at that and say, okay, well, we like Sam Darnold coming out of the draft. He's shown some flashes, played for a terrible organization. If we get our hands on Sam Darnold, we're going to be able to fix him. So they trade, what did they end up trading? Like a second and a third or something like that for him. So they make that trade, doesn't work out. It blows up in their face. Well, Carolina's a team that probably is looking for a quarterback this offseason. So why would they then go after Jimmy G? Then you've got the Colts, who's another team that's going to be looking for a quarterback. It stands to reason that they would want Wentz because Wentz had an MVP-like year under Frank Reich, who's the head coach there. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Well, they traded a lot to get him, and now they're talking about cutting him. So you had two teams that had a clear path or reasoning as to why they would want these quarterbacks. And then you look at Jimmy. Everybody knows what Jimmy is. He's about to be 31 in this next year. They know what to expect. And by the way, I really doubt that anybody's saying, well, Shanahan doesn't know how to call plays over there. So I think if we get him in the building, we can turn him into something special.
Kyle's holding him back.
Right. So I don't think anybody in the league is saying that. And so because of those things,
he's got no one to throw the ball to, no running game, no defense.
Right. So that's two teams right there that I think would be out of the sweepstakes. So that drives the value down a little bit. And then because those teams failed making those moves, and you watch Stafford and the Rams win a Super Bowl when they went all in after a really good quarterback, I think that's the play that people are going to go after. I really think that those trades that people point to as to why Jimmy would get more or why the 49ers would get more for Jimmy, I actually think works against them. That's just my opinion.
Absolutely. And these trades are supposed to be like the reason that Jimmy could go for high picks. It's like both trades crashed and burned. So why would you look at that as the template for something you want to do? You could say, hey, sell us to the owner. Hey, owner, we're going to do the Carson Wentz deal because that one worked. And they're going to be talking about if you want to get fired. So, yeah, I don't think that's really going to work. Maybe the Niners can trade Jimmy Garoppolo, but not because of either template, Wentz or Darnold.
Yeah, I don't think they make sense. I really don't.
Okay, Axel Ruiz has an interesting question. What do you guys make of the report by Jay Glazer saying that the Niners are enamored with Trey Lance? Now, Jay Glazer went on Matt Mayoko's podcast and said that the Niners are enamored with Trey Lance. My initial reaction, that's why they drafted him, right? But okay, what do you think?
Well, my initial reaction was I'm going to pay attention more to what Jay Glazer says than what Joe Montana says. This is what Jay Glazer does for a living. Jay Glazer is a friend of John Lynch's. His whole career is predicated on knowing things around the league versus Joe Montana. Love Joe Montana. He'll always have a place in 49ers' heart. We got to love the guy as a player. But let's be honest. Great players are not always great evaluators of talent. Michael Jordan, horrible talent evaluator. John Elway, horrible at his own position, by the way. One of the worst quarterback talent evaluators I've ever seen, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, top 10 of all time. So to trust what Joe Montana says over what an insider is telling you, yeah, man, I can't go. And who's the guy that writes for ESPN, covers the 49ers?
Nick Wagner.
Wagner. He's come out and said the same exact thing. He backed up everything that Glazer said. So I believe it.
I mean, of course they're enamored with Trey Lance. They traded 3 firsts and the third. Of course they're enamored with him. I was at training camp. He played well. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone tried to make it about Jimmy, how great Jimmy is and how Trey wasn't ready. No. He was really good. And then we saw him against Houston. Why would you not be enamored with Trey with your first round pick after he did that to an NFL team in his second career start? My only question is, now you're enamored. Where was this? Is it enamoration? Where was this enamoration a month and a half ago when Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt and you had the golden opportunity to make the switch? No one would have faulted you if you said, you know what, Jimmy's thumb is hanging by a thread. We're going to go with Trey. But you know why? Because we're enamored. We have full-blown enamoration with Trey Lance, and we like him. But no, he wasn't ready freaking last month. Now you're enamored, though. That's why I keep saying, like, guys, he's ready. Guys, they like him. They're trying to make it all about Jimmy, and they're trying to say Jimmy. He's rallying the troops, and he did. No, they're enamored with Trey, and I still feel like it was a waste of a season. I know they're trying to do what the Chiefs did, and blah 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 blah. Whatever. Enamored. Where was that last month? Should have played the kid. That's how I feel. They got scared, man. Hold on, real quick. They were real nervous with rookies early on in the season. Sanu was playing, Sherfield. Brandon Ayuk suddenly was not seasoned enough for this team. And once they got over all that crap and got freaking D Ford out and Sanu out and Sherfield out and just got Josh Norman, got him the hell out and brought in the young guys, the Niners took off. They just were one young guy away from taking it all the way. If they had just made the switch from Jimmy to Trey at the end, and Jimmy made it all. I mean, Jimmy was basically like, look, I'll play, but I'm hurt, and it really, really hurts. It really hurts. And the Niners were like, nah, he's good. He can play. Like 4 picks and 7 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns and 7 picks from Tennessee on. That was how he ended the season. There's no way Trey would have been worse than that. There's no way. No way.
And at the very least, they could have played 11 on 11 in the run game.
Enamoration? Good. I just don't want to hear any more hateration in this dancery, okay?
I mean, I'm glad you said it because
you don't need no hateration. There's been a lot of hateration in this dancery aimed at Trey Lance, and I think it's time for some enamoration. What is the noun? What is the noun? Enamor? I don't know. It's a weird word. You only talk about it with quarterbacks, though. Anyway,
enamored.
I just feel like it's like the lamest thing. If I were Jay Glazer and I was paid to really like bring the bomb, like this is a Glazer bomb. Like you could just, I mean, I could have said that. I have no sources, and I could have told you that. But great, I'm glad it's official. I think it came out that Tom was talking about Drew Lock.
Oh. That would make a lot of sense, actually. Yes.
Joe says, hopefully that cannon of an arm on Trey Lance will keep Kyle from shortening Debo and Trey's career. Hope you were doing all right, Grant. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's the plan, right? Like, hopefully it does.
No more running back, dude. Jimmy G for Defoe and trade Colts need a quarterback. Nah, the Niners don't want to pay Defoe all that. They took it.
Defoe's about to be cheap now, I think. I think his contract was the opposite of Armstead's.
True. Tom was in an interview and trashed the Niners, and Jimmy said, you're sticking with that MFer over me. I think people are saying it's Drew Lock, although I guess we'll never know. We're never going to know. That's weird.
I don't think so. We will eventually. I mean, at some point, but not now.
Clickbait crazy on this one. Lance firing in 1911. I don't understand. Hey, man, Ron Clark said they should trade him. I'm just saying. Is the NFL rigged? I hate how the refs affect games. You can't say that, man, because T. Higgins literally grabbed Jalen Ramsey's face mask. I mean, I just felt like the officiating was bad, but I don't think it was biased. It was legitimately bad. Like Tony Dungy said it, like, you're going to let everything go for 58 and a half minutes in the last 90 seconds. You call everything. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. You got to be consistent. That being said, I don't think it favored one team over another. And the Bengals had 2nd and 1 and couldn't get 1 yard in 3 tries. So I don't want to hear it.
To be fair, that play right before they called that pass interference or the holding or whatever they called, there was a clear pass interference. Henderson was on like a little Texas route out of the backfield, clearly held. They didn't call anything. Then the next play they called something. So to me, I feel like it was just a makeup call, to be real with you. I don't think they should have called it the play before and not that one, but either way, they got it right. So
you know what it is? NFL hates Cincinnati. I'm just gonna say it. They don't like the chili. They don't like any of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't want Joe Burrow to be the face of their league or anything.
True, right? Grant growing out the beard, looking like a grown ass man. Get it, boy. I just remember Vish saying that he didn't that. Well, my wife is Indian too. They don't. Why Indians don't shave nothing for 2 weeks after someone dies. So I like that. I'm with that. I'm
So
not
you're just
shaving.
enroll with that, okay?
I like it. Yes, I like that.
Well,
I'm
you
a
got the
South
whole
Indian.
lumberjack thing going. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Ricky says, I trust Glazer's word more than Joe's, but don't you think Glazer is gassing up Trey because he's buddy with Lynch and Montana's words hurting the organization, just like how Sims would gas up Kyle? Yeah, I mean, Glazer's probably hearing this from Lynch. And it's funny how Lynch went for a whole year being like, it's not about Trey. Trey, what are you talking about? Let's talk about Jimmy. To being like, hey, did I tell you? Did I tell you? Since when? Enamored me because of what he was doing in practice last month? Oh, then you should have played him. Has he done something recently? No, he's been on vacation, right?
I don't think that's the case because, yes, Sims does gas up Kyle, but he's done no favors to Trey Lance. Like, he's said the whole way he didn't like Trey Lance. He didn't like the pick. So I think these guys are going to be honest. You got to remember, yes, these guys are friends, but they also have a career to uphold. They're not going to just throw out information that's not true because of the hell of it. If he comes out and looks horrible and Glazer has his name on that, like, that doesn't look good on Glazer. So no, I don't think that would be the case.
Irfan says thoughts on report that Eagles want Jimmy. Okay, let's go there now. We're going to do a section called Eliminate or Elevate. We're going to go through 6, 7 teams that have been linked to Jimmy Garoppolo and determine how likely it is that Jimmy would go there. And I want to go team for team, give a couple minutes on each one, starting with the Philadelphia Eagles. Eliminate or elevate them from the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes.
I'm going to eliminate him. So here's my reasoning. If there is any team that can go after the likes of a Deshaun Watson or a Russell Wilson, especially Russell Wilson, I'll explain here in a second, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Why would they go after Jimmy Garoppolo, who is, let's say he is better than Hurts, which I think is debatable, but let's say he is clear-cut better than Hurts. The difference between Hurts and Jimmy is not enough to add $24 million to your salary. It's just not. And the Eagles have 3 first-round picks. So imagine this. They go to the Seattle Seahawks, who have 0 first-round picks yet again, and they say, we're going to give you 3 first-round picks and a poor man's cheap Russell Wilson. Seattle probably entertains that deal. They are in the driver's seat, I feel like, in getting one of these big-name guys because they have 3 picks right now this year, and they could add potentially 1 next year, making it 4 picks. And if you think about it, they didn't give up a lot to get those picks. They traded back 6 spots last year, so they're not losing much capital. And they traded Carson Wentz, who they didn't like anymore anyways, and dumped that salary. So, yeah, they're the one team that could legit offer 4 first-rounders and a serviceable quarterback for any one of these big names. I think Philadelphia is going to go all in on those guys, and I expect it to be Russell Wilson.
Why do you think this report's coming out that the Eagles are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo?
Well, I think it could be twofold. One, maybe for their own benefit. Like, if you can drive up the price of Jimmy Garoppolo to a team like the Commanders, that doesn't hurt you. And 2, well, it could be 3 things. Maybe there's a connection with their front office and the 49ers. Those things do happen. Drive up trade value that way.
No, wait, hold on. Eagles. No, it's someone else. Who is it?
I don't think the Eagles do, but maybe, if they do. And then the other thing could be if they're going after, let's say, maybe they've talked to Seattle and Seattle's like, hold on, we're going to hold off on this. Maybe they're trying to press their hands and say, hey, we're going to go after Jimmy Garoppolo then. Like, we can get Jimmy Garoppolo for much cheaper. You guys can kick rocks, and they're trying to push their hand in to getting into talks.
And keep in mind, Nick Sirianni's the coach there, right?
Yep.
He inherited Jalen Hurts, did a good job with him, but when you inherit a quarterback, you're never wedded to him at all. You can always pivot. And I don't know what Nick Sirianni's history is. I don't think he ever worked. He never worked with Jimmy Garoppolo, but maybe that's the kind of quarterback he wants. We don't even know what he wants. We worked with Phillip Rivers for a long time. We worked with Phillip Rivers for a long time. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of a poor man's Phillip Rivers in a sense.
Although really poor man's
Phillip not nearly as good. But if you want to build your offense around quick passes and short throws, I mean, I could see maybe talking yourself into that mistake. So, hey, I mean, look, What if they trade Jimmy for Jalen Hurts straight up? Niners can have Jalen Hurts as Trey's backup. I mean, that would be a big mistake on Eagles. I'm saying don't write off the Eagles, because what happens when they don't get Russell Wilson? They could, but what happens when they don't get Russell Wilson? Then they might have to be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Or they trade one of their first-round picks for a future first-round pick because another team wants it and they have 3, and then they can use 2 first-rounders next year to move up and get the quarterback they really want. I don't know. I just think that there's so many better options than Jimmy Garoppolo for a team that was in the playoffs, has no pressure this year. Like, they don't have pressure to make the playoffs, and they have 3 first-round. Like, they are in the driver's seat for any of these big guys.
Hey, Niner fans got to be really crossing your fingers that the Eagles pull the trigger on this one. I don't know. This is interesting. I haven't heard they're interested. Wow. Well, God love you. All right. Let's go on the next team. The Washington Commanders, another NFC East team, frequently linked to Jimmy Garoppolo. Elevate them into the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes or eliminate them, Jesse?
Oh, I'm elevating them. I think this one's very, very real. Now, I don't think it's for that number 11 pick. I think that would be a little wild, but I could see them trading a second rounder for Jimmy. Here's the thing. They have Ron Rivera, who he's on his last stint as a head coach, right? He was already out with the Panthers. This is his second time around. They have not won. They've got a very good defense. They got to win this year. And Jimmy, for what we'll say about Jimmy, if you give Jimmy that defense, those weapons, I could see them out of that division making the playoffs. I really could. And that's all he needs to keep his job. So to me, like, this is more a play about, instead of trying to win a Super Bowl, like, they're trying to win right now just to keep jobs going. I think the Washington Commanders, I'm absolutely elevating them.
Yeah. What I would say, though, is Washington, if you're considering bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo, I know there are lots of parallels, but you don't have Deebo Samuel or George Kittle. You do have a pretty good tight end, but you don't have Deebo Samuel. What you do have is Terry McLaurin, great player. But Terry, before you sign off on letting your team trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, give Brandon Ayuk a call. Just ask him what he thinks. Call him up. Say, hey, Brandon, we run a lot of the same routes. We're both kind of used in similar ways. What do you think about playing with Jimmy Garoppolo? I won't speak for Brandon, but I can see that not working. Terry McLaurin and Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he won't look at Terry McLaurin. He won't even look that direction. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong.
They do have Curtis Samuel, who's kind of a poor man's Deebo.
Curtis Samuel. All right, they got Deebo then. All right, maybe.
I think it could work.
All right, okay. The Washington Commanders are legitimate. My cousin's a fan, though, and he's not looking forward to it. I don't think he's going to do cartwheels when their team gets them, dude. I don't think they're going to be like.
No fan base is excited about Jimmy Garoppolo. Trust me. I've been in the spaces. I've been talking to these fan bases. None of them want this guy.
The Denver Broncos, a lot of people linking them to Aaron Rodgers. I guess Jimmy Garoppolo would be their safety school. Eliminate them or elevate them into the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes.
I got to eliminate them. I can't imagine them going from Teddy Two Gloves and a lock to get with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy's an upgrade, right? But how much of an upgrade? And especially in that division. I know, minuscule, right? In that division, when you have Carr, Mahomes, and Herbert,
what's the point?
What is the point?
What are you doing?
That's not moving any needles. That is the wrong way to go. They've got a head coach who's now in his first year. He's not on any pressure to win this year. He's got a year to figure it out. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer. I do not see them being in. I'm going to eliminate them.
Yeah, it seems like a waste of time. It seems like they're aiming much higher. It seems like big name quarterbacks like that organization. Peyton Manning went there. John Elway was there his whole career and continues to work there. Something about that organization. I know the owner died, but Denver, I think, is going to aim a little higher, and it doesn't seem like the kind of quarterback. I mean, they just had Teddy Bridgewater. What does Jimmy Garoppolo have that Teddy didn't? No, I don't think Denver Broncos are a realistic team here. What about the New Orleans Saints? Do you think they'll trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Man, so I know they have a whole new regime there, but I gotta elevate these guys. I do because again, good defense, good offensive line, good run game. They play in a dome, which is very helpful. Their receiver skill sets are built around a quarterback that was basically Drew Brees, an older Drew Brees. So to me, Jimmy fits in perfect. Now, again, maybe the new coach goes a whole different direction. They clean house. I don't know. I know they're up against it in salary cap. That's what makes it very hard. But I really could see the Saints being in on this. I think that would be a great fit for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm going to elevate them.
Yeah, I think Saints are interesting. Their head coach is now Dennis Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, a team with a defensive coach would be more inclined to have a quarterback like Jimmy. Because an offensive coach will look at Jimmy and be like, man, I'm going to have to work really hard to have a good offense this year. And Kyle's been doing the effort, but I don't think he wants to do it anymore. It's hard. Defensive coach will be like, man, that's his problem, first of all. And second of all, the guy wins. I don't care. Let's just bring in the winner. I'll focus on the defense, and then you work around his limitations. I think that's something a defensive coach would be more inclined to do. So I don't know how Dennis Allen thinks, but I could see, for all the reasons you dome, they kind of already have an offense built around a quarterback who doesn't really throw down the field in Drew Brees. Could work. Be a mistake, but it could work.
Yeah. these all could be mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. Carolina Panthers. You think they'll trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
This one's the toughest one for me to gauge because I just got done saying they flubbed the whole Darnold thing, who, by the way, I believe is going to be there again this year. So that was a bad choice.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. That's a bad choice. But the flip side is they're in a very similar position that Washington's in. They need to win. That coaching staff needs to win. If Rule doesn't win this year, he's out. Very good defense. Obviously, a very good run game. McCaffrey, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that when healthy. And I feel like that would be a great fit. I can't see them making the same mistake twice. I have to eliminate them, even though I think on paper it's a great fit.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do it again? You just keep doubling down on the same trades for the same washed-up quarterbacks that failed that the previous organization doesn't want anymore. How many times are you going to say, oh, we're smarter than this organization? Oh, they don't want a quarterback? Ooh, oh, snap. We just came up. Like, really? The Jets got over on you. Right. The Jets. Now the Niners have been with Jimmy for 5 years. You're telling me that there's something you know about him that the Niners don't know? No, it's they just gotta hold on to Sam Darnold and try to make that work out. I don't see the Panthers doing it. Or draft a guy.
There you go. Maybe they go after Carson Wentz, who's going to be cut and will be available for very cheap, I'm sure. I don't know.
That's exciting. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers? How likely is it that the Steelers will trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh, real quick. Maybe Wentz is Trey Lance's backup. What an interesting twist that would be. 2 North Dakota State guys.
Wow.
Just throwing it out there.
What if he's going to be a backup this year, isn't he?
Yeah, of course. I would be shocked if he starts anywhere after playing. Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Okay. Pittsburgh Steelers. Anyways. How likely do you think it is that they'll trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'm definitely elevating them. All the reasons in the world. First of all, very historic franchise. They haven't won a playoff game since, I believe, 2016. They're looking to get in the playoffs and win one. They just played with Ben Roethlisberger, who, listen, one of the few guys that was worse than Jimmy Garoppolo this year, right? He was not good. He was on his last legs and just played horrible football. They were able to make the playoffs with that. And with a running game, a very solid defense, and a coach that clearly is able to work around limitations. Jimmy, at this point in his career, has less limitations than Ben at this point in his career. I actually think that could be a good fit because why would you go with Rudolph? And are they really going to draft one of these other young guys this year? And even if they did want to draft one of these young guys, Jimmy would be a very good bridge quarterback for 2 years while this guy learns. So, yeah, I think it would be a real good spot for Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think it's probably the most likely spot, probably the best fit. Like, defensive coach who could maybe buy into his winning record. A team that wants to hand off most of the time. They spent a first round pick on a running back in the 2020s, which is kind of amazing. Teams don't really do that anymore. They did it. They're very old school. They are built around defense. So I could see that. But at the same time, I mean, they're not a stupid organization. They're not dumb at all. And there are reports that they were actually quite intrigued by Malik Willis. Who does everyone compare Malik Willis to?
I don't know. I haven't
Trey
really put a
Lance.
lot of thought. Oh, Trey. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I could see the Steelers being like, yeah, Jimmy, great fit. Yeah, we really like Jimmy. What about Trey, though? We think you should keep Jimmy because Jimmy, the locker room's behind him. What about Trey? Because you don't really like Trey, right? Like, we heard that we'll have a look and say, Trey, you keep Jimmy. That's what I think the Steelers are trying to do, and Ryan Clark's trying to grease the wheels on that one. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Steelers trying to get Trey Lance. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Last team. How likely is it that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
You couldn't even say it without laughing. Yes, I'm eliminating them. Of course, it doesn't make sense. You've got a head coach that likes to throw downfield. Now it sounds like Watson has taken inventory of teams that might be interested in him. Tampa Bay is one he listed. Vikings are another one he listed. So, no, I don't think Tampa Bay makes any sense for Jimmy Garoppolo. Why would you go from Tom Brady to Jimmy Garoppolo? That makes zero sense. It does make sense that they would be all in on the Watson move. And by the way, they're not afraid of a little controversy here in Tampa. I'll let you know that right now, especially Arians. Yeah, he'll take a shot on a guy like Deshaun Watson, in my opinion.
Okay, good to know. I mean, makes sense. And I think that Mike Evans would love to play with a quarterback such as Deshaun Watson. I don't think Mike Evans is crossing his fingers, hoping he gets to play with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that any top tier wide receiver is saying, yeah, I want to do what Debo did last year. Let me just moonlight as a running back because my quarterback throws hella picks. No, I don't think
Right.
I don't think so. Seems like a bad fit, maybe the worst fit. I know that people feel like the Bucs are desperate, but there are a lot of better decisions than trading a pick for no.
Yeah, that's a horrible, horrible destination.
What do reports of Kyler Murray benching himself in the fourth quarter of the playoff game mean for the 49ers? Cards and Seahawks both have unhappy quarterbacks. He did that?
That's the rumor. I don't know how true it is. The rumor was that he didn't want to play. They had to talk him in. Colt McCoy had to talk him into staying out there. And they have issues with his body language during games and his leadership style.
I got an issue. Here's what I want to say on this. I don't like what the Cardinals are doing. They're clearly negotiating a contract with Kyler. Kyler wants to be the highest paid player in the league, and they don't think he's quite worth it. So instead of taking a stand, trading him, doing something, they're like smearing him in the press and being like, well, we just want you to know that between us, he probably pulled himself. It's like, okay, then trade him. Like all this to just save $5 million a year? Is it really worth it to tarnish the name of your franchise quarterback so you can save $10 million a year? If this is how you feel about him, it's a deal breaker. Trade him. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. That's how I feel.
Trade him for Deshaun Watson. Make that deal.
I mean, I don't think you should give Kyler Murray $55 million a year. I wouldn't do that at all. At all. So, more power to you. Cardinals, just have the courage of your convictions. How many years till our Super Bowl window is gone?
I personally think the peak of it is in 2023. I don't think it's just next year. I think it's the year after. But, I mean, that thing could slam shut at any time. You never know.
Yeah. As long as they have Debo, Bosa, Kittle, Trent Williams, four of the best players. Warner kind of fell off this year, but they have four of the best players in the league at their positions. They should be right there with the Rams. And
all of them have a history of injury.
And it's true. Eli Apple was the best cornerback on the Rams, to be honest. Oh, yeah. It's true.
That was good.
Ivan says the comebacks at Levi's Jimmy was talking about were the ones where wide receivers stopped their route and had to come back to the ball. That was funny. DJ Jones is a must sign to me. Kinlaw is a bust. Do you think we package Jimmy with Kinlaw or Greenlaw for a first?
Not Kinlaw. Kinlaw's not the
isn't
answer
working.
for that.
No, I don't think that gets you a first.
Greenlaw, I could see him packaging to Greenlaw for sure.
Sure, but not for a first. I mean,
No.
SRH91 says if Washington if or does agree to trade the 11th pick for Jimmy and whatever else added, what would be the best and reassured pick to and not be a Solomon Thomas McGlinchey pick for the Niners? I don't know.
I haven't even looked at the first round because right now the 49ers aren't there. So I've been looking at second round prospects. I've been doing write-ups for them for all 49ers Sports Illustrated. But no, I have not looked at any of these first round guys because right now the 49ers aren't there.
Yeah, and the combine hasn't happened yet, man. I'm like Al Davis when it comes to the draft. Like I need numbers, okay? I need numbers. Right. Otherwise, I can't. The tape does lie. Sean says trade Jimmy and Armstead to Washington for their 11th. Armstead. Oh, that's a lot of money going to Washington, though. Niners use that pick to draft Ahmad Sauce Gardner from his name is Sauce. Oh,
yeah.
That's great. I love that. Is he dipped in sauce? That sounds terrific. Wow. I just don't. Can Washington afford all that? That's a lot. Jimmy and Armstead.
I don't think so either. And I want no parts of that defensive line. If you had Armstead to it, my gosh.
Oh yeah. Do you take a high draft pick for Jimmy and still pay half his salary for this year? Take a low draft pick and be free of him. Interesting.
Low draft pick.
Just take whatever and get rid of the contract. I don't want to pay that. I'm with you on that.
They need to get rid of that money.
Keith says Watson has a big day next Tuesday. The legal issues may be behind him soon.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that'll
maybe not.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. William says, my prayers with you and your family. Thank you. Jimmy will do great in Washington, and we can get a second and a third, and Trey will do great. And I think he learned a lot, just needs reps.
And very level-headed take.
I like it. Yeah. Washington, I mean, Alex Smith was winning over there.
Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy can win there too. With Wentz also being available, if you're an organization, would you go Wentz or Jimmy given a chance? Oh, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. If Wentz is a free agent, I'm looking at Wentz and Trubisky and Mariota before I'm paying Jimmy. That's just me. They're a lot cheaper. You don't have to trade anything. They're not the most exciting, but better than paying $27 million to an average quarterback.
Could never be me. Leandro says, do you think the Broncos would trade Surtain for Jimmy? Yeah, I think so. That's better than a draft pick. Do you think they'd want more from us?
Yes, of course they would. They would want probably Ambry Thomas. Let's start there. Ambry Thomas, Jimmy, and maybe Greenlaw.
Niner fans are going to have to lower their expectations on this one, man.
Lowered expectations.
That's right. I have Watson going to Pittsburgh.
Maybe. That wasn't a team he listed today, so who knows?
That team wants to run the ball so much. Jimmy going to the Bucs would break Evans' 1K streak. Oh, it definitely would. Yes. He would not let that happen. What if Brady returns and the Cardinals trade Kyler to Tampa for Brady? What does that mean for the Niners and Rams? Oh,
snap.
See, that is what that's exactly what Arizona should do. If you have some issues with this guy, ship him now and do something like this. I would do that. It would be a great move for Arizona.
You would probably get more than just Tom Brady back in return, by the way.
I don't think Tom Brady's going to come out of retirement to play with freaking Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think so.
Unless he says you get no play call.
He's like, man, I'm way too old for this. Yeah, I'm the head coach in that case.
Yeah.
All right, last topic. Please explain to the viewers out there, the millions and million viewers watching worldwide, how the 49ers have $28 million more in cap space than they realize.
Yeah, so there are 4 players that the 49ers can restructure, basically kick the can down the road and save nearly $28 million if they choose to do so. Now, doing that with all 4 players would be highly unlikely, but you've got Jimmy Ward. If you restructure him, $5.9 million. By the way, about 4 hours after I posted this, somebody also posted, hey, they should restructure Jimmy Ward. And Jimmy Ward commented, yeah, I'm in. So
Yeah,
there you
that
go.
means more money, another extension,
Right,
another bonus, like
right.
a longer career. Yeah, hell yeah, he earned it
Hell
too.
yeah. Yep. So
Bam,
5.9 million right there for Jimmy Ward.
bam.
Trent Williams, they can save 5 million. Now that one's less likely. He just signed a contract. Kittle, same boat, just signed a contract, but they could save 7.8 million by restructuring him. And here's one that's very likely. Eric Armstead, they can save nearly $10 million by restructuring his deal. I
Restructuring
think
is
that one's
in releasing.
no. They well, if they release him,
Oh,
it
quite
would
a bit of
have to
cap.
be
Yeah.
post June because they would
Okay.
save around 15 million.
Well, that wouldn't really
Um,
help you in free agency now, would it?
no, it wouldn't.
Damn.
But if you restructure now, so this is the reason I bring this up is because one of the very first interactions we had, Grant, was me calling into your show, talking about the Saints and the salary cap hell they were in. At
Yeah.
that time, they were nearly 100 million over the salary cap. Yet they only lost really one big name player through free agency. And the reason they did that is because they kept restructuring contracts and kicking the can down the road. Now, the reason the 49ers would do something like that is it allows them to keep some of the players that they're probably going to try to keep. Lake and Tomlinson would be one. And it allows you to, with knowing the salary cap's going to go way up next year, it's okay. Like you can push some of that money off. Now, the reasons you don't do it is because if you trade an Eric Armstead, he gets injured, he retires, you still owe him that 9.8 million over the course of the next few years that counts against your salary cap. So there are reasons to and reasons not to do it, but I could see them taking at least one of those players and absolutely restructuring. I think that there's a big possibility they need that money this year, and I could see them specifically doing it with an Eric Armstead who's under 30 and is playing at a high level, a guy they're going to want to keep around for a while. Why not? I know you're not a big fan.
It doesn't seem like he wants to go anywhere. He's from Northern California. Jimmy Ward says he's down. Seems great. Jesse just figured it out for him. Jesse deserves at least 10% finder's fee.
I wish. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Yeah, if the Niners can figure that out, Parag, that's on you. If not, Jesse's going to take your spot because he's figured it out. He's got the spreadsheet. He's got the Excel, the PowerPoints. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I got to go. This was fun. I appreciate this. It really actually has helped very much this week doing these things. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys.